News Nation reporter Austin Martin has the latest.
Good evening. We're still outside Austin East Magnet High School. We are not sure exactly how many victims there are. We do know that multiple people have been shot, including a KPD officer. Yeah, we're back in front of Austin East Magnet High School, where earlier today this scene looked much different. As of today, most places you go, you can have your gun with you. A new law signed by Tennessee Governor Bill Lee says that if you can buy a gun, you can carry it. It is, but not as fast as other areas. The Delta variant has proven to be more contagious, and the symptoms can be worse for some people. So we are just feet away from that school that was damaged here in Cumberland County. This is the Pleasant Hill community. Take a look behind me. Now, this is in the direct path of that same storm.
What's the mood out there right now?
Excited. Everyone I've talked to has said just about the same thing. They're relieved to finally get their shot. Switching gears now, 6 people were rushed to the hospital after a crash on I-75 North in Loudoun County yesterday. The FAA tells us a Gulfstream American plane went missing near the Rockwood Airport around 10:30 this morning. That airport is in Morgan and Cumberland counties and borders Roane County. Crews tell us they don't know exactly where the plane may have went down, but they are working with the FAA to find out. If I wasn't on TV, you know I'd be singing it right now. Christmas time is here. You all know it. The 1965 Christmas classic from A Charlie Brown Christmas was allegedly played by Dollywood in various forms as early as 2007. I told Connor, our producer, that I would stand up on a board if I end up in the water. You guys know what happened. Here we go. All right, new skills learned today. We did it. We've made it up here.
Wow!
And in good TV fashion, Connor, this one's for you.
Woohoo!
You got your popcorn. Tell us what it's like.
Oh, Lori, I am ready. The lights are on, the popcorn is popping, and 2 dynamic duos are back to their on-screen fights.
Next up, animated feature film. Disney dominates this category with both Pixar movies Onward and Soul. And Austin, you've been talking about this. You are a fan.
I am. I was a Disney kid growing up, so this is kind of a big deal. There was at least one immediate loss in the presidential election, and I'll have a song you'll be singing all day right now in your Hollywood Report. Do. Baby Shark. You're welcome, Victoria. For Good Morning Tennessee, I'm Austin Martin. Make it a great day, and as always, be kind. Good morning, Tennessee. I'm Austin Martin. Most COVID-19 restrictions are now part of Tennessee history. Plus, police are investigating another shooting in East Knoxville. Here's your weekend review. At nearly 100 years old, nothing is slowing down Franklin Parker.
I'm going to swim.
Not even tornado damage. On a beautiful but chilly April morning, or any other morning for that matter, you'll find Franklin making his rounds in Pleasant Hill.
She might be on her way.
But he's not alone. His wife Betty is just a few steps behind him. He's 99.
June the 2nd, I'll be 100.
And since 1921, Tennessee and Franklin both have seen their fair share of bad weather.
We've been here a good 40 years.
But Franklin says he's never seen a storm like that.
I've seen some bad weather, but not a tornado, which must be various bolts at one time coming down. Why, how? We just don't know.
The storm was quick and left a mess over his walking path.
I was surprised looking out at the broken trees and the broken church house.
But just like Franklin, cleanup crews aren't slowing down either.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, equivalent of about 5 or 6 blocks.
Because when you've made it this far, what's another bump, or in this case branch, in the road in Cumberland County?
Go on another walk with my wife.
Austin Martin, WATE, 6 on your side.
Hey, Austin, how do officers train to make that quick but deadly decision?
Well, today I've learned a lot goes into that decision. Everything from where the incident is to who's around. All things an officer has to think about in that moment. But the decision isn't one officers take lightly, and those who train them say it's a last resort. A quarter of a second.
Did you even see a gun?
No. That's how quickly things can change. Jeff Lindsay was an FBI agent for nearly 3 decades, but for the last 5 years, he's made his priority training and retraining officers from across Tennessee.
As a responding officer, you have to have that mindset of flexibility.
Flexibility and making split-second decisions, all in a day's work for police, but it took weeks, months, and even years to get there.
But a standardization across the country and preparing officers for those multiple dimensions that they're going to come into contact with whenever they go to a scene.
That's where this thing comes into play. This is one of the few in the state giving officers real-time training in a variety of situations. This technology is equipped with different outcomes.
Change the variables.
But all that training is put to test in situations like last week's shooting at Austin East. Officers had just seconds to decide what to do.
Every single circumstance, every single officer is going to be absolutely perfect in how they respond. And unfortunately, that's not reasonable because no profession, doctors cannot be absolutely perfect in the way that they respond.
But it's not all about perfection.
Everyone that takes an oath to be a law enforcement officer, to be a peace officer, is a human. They have families, they have friends, they have emotions, like everyone that they encounter. They're human beings.
It's about keeping themselves and their community safe.
Every time an officer uses force, it needs to be scrutinized. And there needs to be transparency and accountability.
Now, Lindsay says every situation is different and sometimes there's not one perfect outcome, but officers are trained to make the best decision at a given time for everyone involved. Keep it here. You're watching WATE 6 on Your Side News at midday. We'll be right back.